Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldo Green here, and for those of you who've been around for long enough, you already know that I've had a series in the past where I talked about combo builders, what are combo builders and how to build them. I talked about tanks, I talked about support characters, and it was only left to talk about damage dealers, but I've just been too lazy about it at that point and I eventually forgot about it. But no more, today we're going to conclude the series with what are damage dealers, what type of damage dealers are there, and how to build each type of a damage dealer. And if you're interested in any previous episodes of the series about tanks, combo builders and support characters, I'm going to link them down in the description. So, in this video we're going to take a look at how to identify a damage dealer, how to classify each damage dealer, and then how to build each type of damage dealer. So, with all that being said, if you find this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. So, in the first section of the video we're going to go over what is a damage dealer and how to identify them. First of all, it's pretty self-explanatory. A damage dealer is a character that will deal a lot of damage, be it through abilities, be it through basic attacks. The only thing is that matters is the end goal of it, and that's high damage in raids and soul rates. We're not going to really take into account damage dealers for Arena and Champions Arena, because while there are characters that excel at dealing damage specifically in Arena and Champions Arena, you should first build the damage dealers that deal damage in raids and soul rates, because those will perform more or less as good in Arena and Champions Arena. And how do you identify a damage dealer? Well, in theory, any character in the game can be a damage dealer. And in theory, what you should do is build every single character in the game and see which deals more damage. But you're lucky. A lot of people have already experimented with all the characters in Just 2 Mobile, and I think we can safely draw the lines at this point to which characters are going to be worth building as damage dealers. And I have made a little bit of a graphic for you over here. We have top tier damage dealers and okay damage dealers. The top tier damage dealers are going to be the absolute best damage dealers in Just 2 Mobile that you can use. And at the same time, the okay damage dealers are going to be something like second hand alternatives, or some characters that don't usually act as a damage dealer, because in the same team as they are, there will be a character that will deal far more damage. And the best example of this is actually Justice League Cyborg. Justice League Cyborg and Justice League Flash were regarded for a long time as top tier damage dealers, but things have changed. Justice League Flash is going to go in the same team with Black Manta, and Justice League Cyborg is going to go with Justice League Superman, and Justice League Superman is going to do most of the job. But nevertheless, they are still very good second-hand alternatives. But yeah, in the top list we have characters like Silver Banshee, Multiverse Armor Supergirl, Confluence Aquaman, Black Manta, Justice League Superman, Heartbreak Harley Quinn, Last of the Joker, Batman Ninja Catwoman, and Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd. Those are going to be the top of the top damage dealers. If you want to build one of those, you can't really go wrong with it. They are not in a particular order because this is not a video about doing a list about the best damage dealers. And in the okay damage dealer tier list, you got options for second-hand alternatives. Yet again, not all of them will perform as good as the other. I've put stuff like Predator Batman or Silver Batman, characters that you rarely see used as damage dealers, just to exemplify that this okay damage dealer list could be far more local and could include more characters. But the safest route is to go for the ones on the higher tier. So yeah, the conclusion of this segment is that the damage dealer is the character that deals a lot of damage, and those are the damage dealers that you should really go for. Now let's get into the types of damage dealers. When it comes to damage dealers, we can classify them in two categories. First of all, we can classify them by how they actually deal their damage, be it by basic attacks or special abilities, and then we can classify them on the different builds that they have, because if a character deals damage from their abilities or their basic attacks, it does not mean that they will have the exact same thing as all the damage dealers in that category. So first of all, we'll go over classifying them by how they deal their damage, and then we'll go over classifying them by the build that you should go for. First up in this classification of how they deal their damage, we're going to have basic attack damage dealers. Those are damage dealers that are going to use, for the most part, in 90% of the situations, only their basic attacks. No special attacks, no nothing. And the super move. The super move is very important because if a character deals damage through their basic attacks a lot, then it's going to be definitely worth it doing the super move. And those characters are going to be Black Manta, In 99% of the cases, Black Manta is not going to use a special tree. Actually, in 90% of the cases, because nowadays he uses it in soul raid fights. Heartbreaker Harlequin is never going to use special attacks, only basic attacks. Justice League Cyborg is only going to use basic attacks, might use the special to power drain the enemy. Justice League Flash can use the special tree, but he does not have to, and a lot of time is not optimal to do so. And Justice League Aquaman will for the most part only deal damage through his basic attacks. So yeah, pretty self-explanatory, am I right? Those damage dealers are here because they only deal damage by their basic attacks. Now we got mixed damage dealers. Damage dealers that deal a lot of damage both through their basic attacks or both through their abilities. Or maybe there are a few exceptions in this category. And those exceptions will be Last of the Joker and the Justice League Superman. Last of the Joker and Justice League Superman will deal the brunt of their damage through basic attacks. But it's convenient in terms of their actual gameplay to chain abilities into their combos because they can keep chaining basic attacks after using an ability. So all the characters in this list will deal damage through both basic attacks and special attacks. We have Batman Ninja Catwoman. She will use special 3 or special 1 depending on the situation. Batman Ninja Korlagrod will use special 1 when he's coupled with Batman Ninja Catwoman as double damage dealers. Batman Ninja Lord Joker will use his special 3, but of course will deal a lot of damage through basic attacks, and this applies to Batman Ninja Korlagrod and Catwoman as well, because they are Batman Ninja characters and that's how they work. Kevin Flint's Aquaman is going to deal a huge amount of damage through his special attacks, but at the same time he'll deal a huge amount of damage through his special tree. Last of the Joker is going to deal most of his damage through basic attacks, but his special 2 will simply chain into the gameplay that he needs to do special attacks naturally. Justice League Superman will for the most part only use basic attacks, but yet again the special tree kind of chains into the gameplay that he's required, and Batman Ninja Robin is going to at the same time use some special attacks and use his basic attacks and deal a lot of damage with all of them. Those are the mixed damage dealers. And the last category is going to be the special attack damage dealers. In this category we'll have damage dealers that might deal some damage through their basic attacks, but they are only using their basic attacks to get to the point where they can use the special attack. And it's simply a convenience of chaining the combo into the special ability, and the attacks are not really a big part of the damage that is dealt. The brunt of the damage will be from the certain special attack or special attacks. We have Black Adam. With Black Adam it's a little bit weird because he also deals a lot of damage with basic attacks when it comes to Soul Raid nowadays, but mainly he deals a lot of damage with his special tree because he can use it 2 times per tagging and still keep up for the All Blade stacks. Multiverse Summoned Supergirl will deal the brunt of her damage with her special tree, same with Silver Banshee and same with Predator Batman and with Silver Batman. The gameplay might differ, actually it's different to each character in this particular bracket. The only 2 that have the same gameplay are Predator Batman and Silver Batman, but the end result is that the biggest amount of damage is going to be dealt by special attacks. So yeah, those are the 3 categories in terms of how they deal damage. Now let's move on and try to find out how we build them, because in a lot of the situations how they deal damage does not dictate how you should build them. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, when it comes to how you should build them, they are going to be classified in a few categories. The ones that need only critical attack chance and critical attack damage and attack, the ones that also need fast attack chance and maybe armor pierce depending on the character, and the ones that have a little bit more special builds when it's compared to the others. The first one and the most straightforward one is going to be the critical attack chance, critical attack damage and attack. Your critical attack chance and critical attack damage will increase your damage tremendously, so that should be your main focus, and the attack will just be something that you should have afterwards. Always prioritize critical attack chance and critical attack damage, because most of your attack you'll get from using the All Blades or the Soul Raid artifacts, but it's also worth mentioning that attack is going to help a lot also. And those characters are going to be straightforward characters that don't really have anything else to their kit other than dealing huge amounts of damage with their special attacks. Well, the gameplay yet again will differ when it comes to each one of them, and this is the base archetype for all the damage dealers that are not on this list for the most part. Like, if you want to build something as a damage dealer, if you want to build yourself a Swamp Thing as a damage dealer, the way to go is to do critical attack chance, critical attack damage and attack. This is the most basic form of a damage dealer. Now we're going to have the next one, which will be damage dealers that are going to deal damage through their basic attacks, or they are going to deal with both basic attacks and special attacks. And those are going to fall into the category of critical attack chance, critical attack damage, attack, so far the same as the first one, and fast attack chance. And armor pierce on some of them. So let's take it, let's slow it down. First of all, critical attack chance and critical attack damage will be present on every single character that can hit bosses that take critical attack damage, because critical attack damage is a very important stat. Fast attack chance will be present here because they also deal a lot of damage through their basic attacks, and fast attack chance will make them deal double the damage or maybe triple the damage on some basic attacks, or when it comes to Justice League the Flash, 4 times the damage when they trigger a fast attack. And the armor pierce will be a thing that might be present on some characters and might not be present on others, depending on the character, on how they work and where they are hitting. Let's take it one by one. Aquaman, King of Atlantis Aquaman will not need armor pierce on his basic attacks and will only need critical attack chance, critical attack damage and fast attack chance, because usually he does not hit in places that have high armor, and at the same time his team is very modifiable, and if you need to hit somewhere where the enemy is going to have armor, you can just swap one of your characters in the team, for example Shazam for a classic Superman, to reduce the opponent's defense. So you don't need armor pierce on him, and also he deals a lot of damage through his special attack, so he's not really based on that. Next up we have the classic Justice League team. Is going to be Justice League Aquaman, Justice League Flash and Justice League Cyborg. In theory, they would need armor pierce on their basic attacks, but in practice, that armor pierce is going to be provided by Justice League Aquaman, so there's no reason for you to put it, because his passive is going to provide them with 100% armor pierce on their basic attacks, so their build will require only critical attack chance, critical attack damage, fast attack chance and armor pierce. Next up we have Justice League Superman. Justice League Superman is also a Justice League member, and you might think that it's only critical attack chance, critical attack damage, attack and fast attack chance, but it's also armor pierce, because his ideal team does not feature Justice League Aquaman. He deals a lot of damage through his basic attacks, and that's why he should have armor pierce. Next up we have Black Manta and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, and both of them for the most part of the gameplay will deal almost all the damage through basic attacks, and you're going to have far better results no matter where you're hitting with them by putting armor pierce on them. And the exact same deal is going to be with Last of the Joker. The Last of the Joker is going to actually use the second special quite often, so it's not going to be only basic attacks, but it seems to yield far better results if you just stick armor pierce on him anyway. So yeah, those are the critical attack chance, critical attack damage, fast attack chance, and sometimes armor piercing damage dealers. Next up we have the last category, which is It's Complicated. Those characters are going to have different builds depending on either where you use them or with Multiverse Armor Supergirl, a weird one. So Multiverse Armor Supergirl is only going to need attack. Like, she's going to need, in theory, the exact same build as Silver Banshee. Critical attack chance, critical damage, and attack. But she's going to be paired up with Multiverse the Flash, and he gives her a lot of critical attack chance and critical attack damage. And at the same time, you're going to get a buff from your special tree that's going to be active like 90%, 99% of the time. And coupled with the Multiverse Flash passive, you're going to have almost non-stop max critical attack chance and critical attack damage on her without having any on the gears and talents. So the way to build her is going to be full attack. Though don't go out of your way to put attack on talents, like, it's good to have, but it's not going to make a huge difference. The Batman Ninja team is going to be a little bit of a weird one. Some of them, I'm not going to go into depth, I have build guides for Batman Ninja Catwoman and Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd, so you should go check them out. But for the most part, they are going to go for the critical attack chance, critical attack damage and attack. They're not going to need armor pierce because they reduce the defense of the enemy. Same with Last of the Joker, by the way. And depending on the specific character in this 4-character bracket, and depending on the situation you are specifically using them in, they might or might not need lethal attack chance. Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd needs lethal attack chance. There's no way around it. You need to put lethal attack chance on Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd. You need to put lethal attack chance on Batman Ninja Lord Joker, and you need to put lethal attack chance on Batman Ninja Robin, as far as I'm aware. But Batman Ninja Catwoman does not require lethal attack chance always. So yeah, this pretty much concludes the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Hit that like button. comment down below with any questions that you might have, and I'll see you all in the next one.